Okay, by the request of a couple of people, I'm going to try to demonstrate the special way of tying a boot that I was spelling out in the written comments and a Facebook page recently. So the person was complaining about after hiking a couple of miles, they started to feel their toe bumping up against the end of the boot, and they were pretty sure they had the right size boot and were trying to figure out exactly what the problem was, but the ends of their toes were getting sore. So one of the suggestions I had of something to try is to try tying your boots in a little bit different way. So I'm going to try to show that to you here. So for me, I need lots of toe room. I've got high arches and short toes, and I just need side to side space. So I don't like to pull my toe tight at all when I'm lacing my boots. So I just pull it snug, keep this part loose. But then what I do is I tie a surgeon's knot here, which is basically you just start out as if you were going to tie your shoe, a simple little overhand knot, but then you pass it through a second time, and then you pull that snug. The reason for doing that is it keeps that knot from slipping. It'll hold in place a little bit better than with just the single notch through. Then the second thing to do is to go back here to the lace locks, and instead of doing the usual motion where you go on the bottom toward the back and then pull it up and over, go in the reverse order. So go over the top and down behind, over the top and down behind, and then come back up again. What that does is it helps actually pull the heel of the boot a little more snugly up against the heel of your foot. And then as you lace the top part of your boot, pull it nice and tight. Don't cut off circulation, but pull it much more snug than you do down here. You don't have any toes at the top that have to wiggle around, so you can pull that pretty tight. Then again, start out like you're going to make a bow, but do a surgeon's knot, passing it through a second time, and that will just help hold that tension up there. You can see I can let go and it doesn't unravel. And then you can tie a bow as usual. There's a hiker's knot to keep your bow from coming untied too. I'll show you that in a separate step. So in case you didn't get that, let's try it again on the other boot. So lots of toe room, nothing tight down in the bottom part of my shoe. I don't want that part tight at all. To keep that part loose and allow me to tighten the top part, I'm going to begin by putting a surgeon's knot here, which helps hold the amount of tension I want in this place. Keeps these loose, but allows me to make the top part tight without the tension that's up here transferring down into the loose toes and loosening the top in the process. And then again, instead of going the usual way of bottom, back, up, go backwards. So go top, behind, bottom, and then back up again. That helps pull the heel up more snugly against your heel, and then make these tight up here. So the tight laces up at the top around your ankle, and again, when you get to the top and you're ready to make your bow, do a surgeon's knot. So pass that through once as normal, and then pass it through a second time. It'll just help hold the tension where you want it a little better. The point of doing this all is to make this part up around your ankle tight. So that'll keep your foot from sliding forward inside your shoe because this is nice and snug. And at the same time, it doesn't force you to make the bottom part so tight that it cuts off the circulation in the toe of your boot. Okay? All right. And hopefully that'll help some people. I know it helps me. I had a similar problem to what the person was describing. Let me show you now a hiker's knot for tying your shoes in a way where they just don't come untied. It's really good. So as before, we're up at the top. We're finished with lacing the boot. Now we're going to put a bow in. I'm going to start off by doing that double under surgeon's knot. Pull it tight. And now instead of just making a traditional bow, I'm going to start off like a traditional bow, totally like a traditional bow. But then before I pull it tight, I'm going to take this ear, this loop, the bunny ear if you will, this loop, and tuck it back through the opening again. And then pull it tight. And I can tell you, these virtually never come untied. And it works on all kinds of laces. The round laces, the flat laces, they virtually never come untied. And unlike the traditional granny knot double knot, this one won't tangle up. So you can grab the two loose ends and just pull it and it comes right untied. So again, you start off like you're making just a regular bow, make a bow, loop around, pull the second loop out or ear out, but before you pull it all the way tight, take that second loop, poke it back in the opening, the same hole that it just came out of, and pull that. I'll do it again on this boot to demonstrate one more time. We're at the top of the boot, ready to make a bow. Once, twice, surgeon's knot. One ear, one bunny loop, wrap it around as always, poke it through the hole. That same hole you just poked it through, you're going to take that ear or that loop back around, poke it through the same hole one more time. When you're finished, it should look something like that with these two cross loops, and your ends are free. Word of caution, don't grab a hold of just one end and yank it to untie them. Sometimes that works fine, but sometimes that'll end up in a tangled up mess. Grab both loose ends, both ends as they're sticking out, pull them together, and it will not knot. And again, this knot virtually never comes undone. I think the only time I can remember it coming untied is when I accidentally caught the one end of a longer lace on something else and it pulled it loose. Anyway, okay, that's boot tying 101. Maybe 201.